The South China Sea is more than just a body of water. It is a vital artery for global trade. Trillions of dollars in goods pass through its shipping lanes every year. This makes the region incredibly important for the world economy. Below its waves lie vast, untapped reserves of oil and natural gas. These resources are a source of great temptation for the nations that border the sea. For centuries, fishermen have also relied on its rich waters for their livelihoods. The sea is a lifeline, a treasure chest, and a strategic crossroads all in one. History, economics, and national pride collide, creating a complex and often volatile environment. Tensions in this critical region are rising. China claims almost the entire South China Sea as its own. It uses a line on its maps, the 9-dash line, to mark its territory. This claim overlaps with the claims of several other countries, including the Philippines. The Philippines sees parts of this sea as its West Philippine Sea. This fundamental disagreement over sovereignty is the root of the conflict. The stakes are incredibly high, and understanding the military capabilities involved is the first step to grasping the reality of the situation. China's Navy, officially known as the People's Liberation Army Navy, or PLAN, is the largest in the world by number of ships. This massive fleet is the primary tool of China's power projection in the South China Sea. The PLAN has undergone a breathtaking transformation over the past 2 decades. It has moved from a coastal defense force to a true blue water navy capable of operating far from its shores. This expansion is not just about numbers, it is about quality and capability. The fleet includes a growing number of aircraft carriers, powerful destroyers, modern frigates, quiet, deadly submarines. The crown jewels of the PLAN are its aircraft carriers, Liaoning, Shandong, Fujian. These carriers give China a floating airbase it can move anywhere in the region. These carriers are escorted by Type 055 destroyers, which are among the most powerful surface warships in the world. The PLAN also operates a huge fleet of submarines, including nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines. The China Coast Guard operates very large cutters, some bigger than the warships of other navies. China also commands a huge maritime militia. They work with the military to swarm areas, gather intelligence, and create a constant, overwhelming presence that is hard for other nations to challenge without escalating to a military conflict. The Dragon's fleet is a clear and undeniable symbol of China's ambition to dominate its maritime backyard, and it is a force that commands respect and inspires fear across the region. The Philippine Navy is a small but determined force. For many years, its primary ships were aging vessels, handed down from the United States after World War II. These ships were slow, poorly armed, expensive to maintain. They were not designed for the challenges of a modern naval conflict. The Navy's main job was to patrol the country's long coastline, smugglers, pirates. It was not equipped to face a powerful state-of-the-art navy like China's. This historical focus on internal security left the Philippines at a significant disadvantage in the West Philippine Sea. However, the situation is changing. The Philippines has embarked on an ambitious modernization program for its armed forces. The Navy is at the forefront of this effort. It has acquired new modern warships to replace its old fleet. The most significant additions are the Jose Rizal-class frigates. These ships are equipped with modern sensors, missiles, guns. They represent a major leap in capability for the Philippine Navy. These frigates are a symbol of the Philippines' new commitment to defending its maritime territory. Despite these upgrades, the Philippine Navy remains heavily outmatched by China's fleet. China's Air Force, the People's Liberation Army Air Force, or PLAAF, has grown into one of the most powerful aerial forces on the planet. Just like its Navy, the PLAAF has undergone a stunning modernization over the last 2 decades. It has transitioned from an obsolete force flying copies of old Soviet jets to one that operates advanced, domestically designed fighter aircraft. The PLAAF now possesses a vast and diverse inventory of planes, including stealth fighters, long-range bombers, sophisticated support aircraft. This air force gives China the ability to control the skies over the South China Sea and project power far beyond its borders. The leading edge of the PLAAF's combat power is its fleet of modern fighter jets. The Chengdu J-20, the Mighty Dragon, is China's first stealth fighter. Designed to be hard to detect on radar, it can penetrate enemy airspace and strike high-value targets, command centers, air defense systems. Alongside the J-20, China fields the Shenyang J-16 and the J-11. These jets carry advanced radars and long-range air-to-air missiles. A key part of China's strategy in the South China Sea is its artificial islands. Man-made islands on reefs and atolls in the Spratlys with long runways, hangars, and advanced sensors. These bases function as unsinkable aircraft carriers. The Philippine Air Force, or PAF, has a long and proud history, but for many years it faced severe challenges. After the retirement of its F-5 fighters in 2005, the country had no supersonic combat aircraft for over a decade. The Air Force was left with helicopters, slow-moving propeller planes. It had no real ability to defend its airspace from a modern, fast-moving threat. The skies were effectively unguarded. Tensions rose in the West Philippine Sea. A capable Air Force became essential for surveillance and defense. The Philippines prioritized rebuilding air power, acquiring a squadron of FA-50PH Fighting Eagle jets from South Korea. The FA-50 is a light combat aircraft, not a top-tier fighter, but it was a game-changer for the PAF. It returned the Philippines to supersonic flight and can perform air defense, reconnaissance, ground attack. They are armed with short-range missiles and a cannon, enabling interception and faster, more credible patrols. Still, the PAF is outmatched by China's PLAF. PAF strategy focuses on a porcupine defense, deterrence through being costly to attack. The People's Liberation Army, or PLA, is the largest active-duty military force in the world, with approximately 2 million soldiers. It's a massive and increasingly modern ground force. The PLA has been undergoing significant reforms, moving away from a mass infantry army designed to fight a defensive land war. Now, it's becoming a more flexible, high-tech force capable of conducting joint operations with the Navy, with the Air Force. While a ground invasion of the Philippines is highly unlikely, the PLA's army plays a crucial role in China's overall military strategy, particularly through its powerful rocket and missile forces. The PLA ground force is equipped with thousands of modern main battle tanks, armored personnel carriers, self-propelled artillery systems. It's also developed a powerful Army aviation component. The most relevant part for the South China Sea conflict is the PLA Rocket Force, a separate branch controlling land-based ballistic missiles and cruise missiles. Now, the Philippine Army is much smaller, but it's a battle-hardened force. For decades, its primary mission, fighting insurgencies and fighting terrorist groups. That gave soldiers extensive experience in jungle warfare, counterterrorism, small unit tactics. The Philippine Army's equipment is generally less advanced than China's. As part of modernization, it's receiving new equipment, new light tanks from Israel, self-propelled howitzers boosting firepower, developing coastal defense with the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile from India. The military competition between China and the Philippines is defined by a vast technological divide. China has invested heavily in developing and deploying advanced high-tech weapons systems. One of its most famous is the DF-21D anti-ship ballistic missile, often called the carrier killer. This missile is launched from land, travels at incredible speeds, and is designed to hit a moving aircraft carrier at sea from over 1,000 miles away. It's a weapon designed specifically to counter the naval power of the United States, but it also poses a grave threat to any warship operating in the South China Sea. This technology, honestly, fundamentally changes the rules of naval warfare. China is also a leader in other areas of advanced military technology, hypersonic weapons. These travel at more than 5 times the speed of sound and are extremely difficult to intercept. Spy satellites, navigation satellites, giving its military a constant eye in the sky. Furthermore, China has formidable capabilities in cyber warfare and electronic warfare. It can disrupt enemy communications, jam radar systems, and disable computer networks. This silent warfare can cripple an opponent's ability to command and control its forces before a single shot is even fired. The Philippines, on the other hand, cannot compete with China on this level of technology. It does not have stealth fighters, hypersonic missiles, or a global satellite network. Its strategy, therefore, is one of asymmetry. The goal here isn't to match China's technology one for one, but to use clever, cost-effective solutions to raise the risks and costs for any potential aggressor. China's military growth is driven by clear national ambitions. It seeks to become the dominant power in Asia. It also seeks to be a leading power on the global stage. Securing control over the South China Sea is a critical step in this plan. It would give Beijing control over vital trade routes. It would give Beijing access to resources. It would give Beijing a strategic buffer against other powers. China generally prefers to act alone. It uses economic and military might to pressure its neighbors into accepting its claims. It resisted international legal rulings, like the 2016 Arbitral Tribunal Award that favored the Philippines. Instead, China insists on bilateral negotiations where it has the upper hand. The Philippines, knowing it cannot stand up to China alone, has pursued a strategy of strengthening its alliances. Its most important relationship is with the United States. The two countries have a mutual defense treaty, signed in 1951. The treaty says they will come to each other's aid in case of an armed attack. Recently, the alliance has been strengthened significantly. The Philippines granted the U.S. access to several military bases under EDCA. This lets the U.S. pre-position equipment and rotate troops. It enhances joint training. It improves response times in a crisis. Beyond the U.S., the Philippines is building a network of security partnerships. It has strengthened defense ties with Japan. It has strengthened defense ties with Australia. It has strengthened defense ties with India. In a direct, one-on-one comparison, the military balance between China and the Philippines is starkly clear. China is overwhelmingly more powerful. Its navy is larger, more modern, and more technologically advanced. Its air force is larger, more modern, and more technologically advanced. China's ability to project power through its aircraft carriers, stealth fighters, and vast missile arsenal is something the Philippines simply cannot match. On paper, any conflict would be a swift and decisive victory for China. The Dragon's military might, built through decades of focused investment and national will, is a reality that shapes every interaction in the South China Sea. However, this simple comparison does not tell the whole story. The Philippines has embarked on a determined path of modernization. New frigates, fighter jets, missile systems do not close the gap. They do change the equation. They create a porcupine defense, making the Philippines a much harder and more painful target. The goal is not to win a war, but to deter one by ensuring that any aggression would come at a significant cost. The surprising conclusion is that the real balance of power is not determined by a simple count of ships and planes. It's actually found in the realm of geopolitics and alliances. The Philippines' most powerful weapon is its mutual defense treaty with the United States. The possibility that an attack on the Philippines could lead to a war with the world's foremost military superpower is a risk that even China is not willing to take lightly.